Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Super excited to have you here with me. It is another fantastic Sunday morning. Super excited to be here. Lots and lots and lots to cover. Holy cow, it's been a crazy, amazing, super busy week. Happy Easter Sunday to everybody. To that end, I'll announce it a few times during this live stream. We are not doing boot camp today. We're not going to lose a week. We're just going to push this one to the end. It has been a crazy, crazy, amazingly awesome and nuts busy week. So what I wanted to talk about today, kind of opening discussion, evictions. So we are in the throes of our last couple. We had previously done 9 evictions in the first about 20 years of the business. And of those 9 evictions, 7 of those evictions were specifically in one building. And suffice to say, we got rid of that building. That building was the problem. We couldn't get good, consistent tenants there. And certainly not at the price that we needed to have that asset make sense. So then that's when you would look at selling a multifamily. I don't really sell them, but at the end of the day, we had the report card. It had been years. We had done the work. We had a nice unit. It was even lead free, and we couldn't consistently get good tenants there. So at the end of the day, don't fight the Fed, don't fight the tape. The report card was what the report card was. That was the best we were going to do. I got to change this camera. It's driving me absolutely bonkers. There. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It was driving me nuts not being centered. Oh, it's driving me bonkers. All right. Anyway. So I think that all of us really have to look at the asset that we have and stop trying to convince ourselves it's something that it's not. It wasn't a good asset. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing, which is returning cash flow and giving us a good return on our capital and our investment. So we weren't afraid to walk away from it. But again, that's a little life lesson in that they can't all be winners. However, that is the only multifamily I've ever sold that I just couldn't make work. It was a combination of location. It was really, that was the biggest issue. And after we had gotten hit with the lead order, there was no way to make those numbers work. Just wasn't. So we had to do the work. We tried it for a few years and then it just didn't work. But again, the eviction thing, 7 out of 9 my evictions were from that one building. We have almost finished all of our evictions now. And I believe this number has taken us to 16. I believe we did 7 that, we had, 8 go to court, 9 go to court. I think we had 8 go to court. We had 8 go to court and 1 tenant we worked something out with, for them to actually stay. They're just going to go to a less expensive unit, which makes a whole lot more sense. They had always paid on time. But when the previous company had raised their rent, it was just way too high. Obviously they had raised their rent because that gets them a better sales price. That being said, it didn't make any sense for them to try and stay there because they were just going to continue to struggle. So I think that one of the really important things about how that went in court was just how the judge saw how we handled our business. The goal wasn't to just toss these folks out. The goal was to try and come up with something. However, this was the only tenant that came to court with cash, with a plan, with being able to show me what they were dealing with. If they'd sent that and done that beforehand when we asked the question, we wouldn't have taken the tack that we did. I think what the impetus for that was, and the reason was because they looked at the market, they tried to find a place and they could not find a place. They couldn't find a place anywhere near what they needed for what they had for a budget. But it was a win-win for us. We get to keep a tenant that we know pays on time and pays well. We don't have to write off the thousands of dollars because I'm not looking for a write-off. I'm looking for income. And we got that tenant, into a new place. And I think they're going to be moving in about 3 weeks now. We're just finishing up the new place that they're going to go to. And then the place that they're in now, we're going to gut it. So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. But let's jump into the comments real quick here. And also, again, boot campers, no boot camp today. Family plan changed. And so I'm going to go do Easter with my kids, change from a morning thing to an afternoon thing. So, we're nothing if not flexible. REI Stoners, yes, you were first. Good morning. Doug Kratz, good morning. I already talked to my lender about that 40-year mortgage. Who else? Yeah, 40-year mortgages. I'd be looking at them. I don't think they're the death knell that people think that they are. Japan has 100-year mortgages. Okay. So at the end of the day, what is it? It's the payment. We've already got everybody thinking payment. It's payment because that's what landlords look at and say, hey, this is what my payment's going to be. Now, the pitfall to it is that probably for the first 10 or 12 years, it's basically interest only. Now, that said, it's going to drastically drop your payment. The question is does that take a good deal to a great deal? Maybe it does. If you're looking at 40-year duration debt, okay. I mean, these are all things that we look at where it's not risky. All you're doing is putting your time horizon even further out. I don't see anything wrong with a 40-year product. However, one of the things that all the crash idiots are going to miss is that when you have a 40-year product available, guess what that does? Helps keep the price high because the payment is going to be lower in a 40 than a 30. And so now people pick up that much more of a payment that they can make, or maybe the difference between a 30 and a 40 is the difference between a yes or a no for that couple or for the person buying the house. Like I told you, the system continues to move and to adapt. The crash bros always get it wrong because they don't think that people are going to move and adapt. Like since the dawn of time, you dopes. Anyway, all-nighter, good morning, sir. Mandy W, good morning, happy Easter. Happy Easter to you as well. All-nighter, happy Easter. Josh Burdick, happy Easter. Thank you very much. Josh got the snake. Anna K, good morning and happy Easter. Good morning, Anna K. Bobby Simpson, good morning. Happy Easter, everybody. Hello, don't start without me. Dave, I held it close. It was close. REI was first, but you're a close second. Doug Kratz, is it considered an eviction if we just choose not to renew a month-to-month lease? No. Eviction, I consider, is when we actually get a writ of possession from a sheriff. Or from the judge that we then bring to the sheriff, that the sheriff then works with us to go serve the writ of possession. Just because I post papers, not an eviction. Just because we go to court, not an eviction. However, 90% of the time that I go to court, that person's gone forever. I'd say even higher, probably 95%. Because I think we've only saved it. No, probably not. So yeah, like right around 90%, 88, 90%, because it's maybe like 2 out of 20 that we've been to court where we didn't follow. So we actually have 16 evictions where we got the writ of possession and served it with the landlord, with the sheriff to the tenant, posted, and then they had to leave. Dividend Dave. Oh, nope. Doug Kratz. Yeah. So that's what, so not renewing a month-to-month lease, definitely not an eviction. Nope. Definitely not. REI Stoners, happy last day of the NBA regular season. Go Lakers. All-nighter hider. Dave's here and the camera is centered. We can start now. I know, right? That camera was driving me bonkers. Let's see. Dave, short the like button. Nice. REI Stoners liked. Thank you, sirs. Let's see. Matt Bittner. I wonder how much 40-year mortgages will contribute to property value appreciation. Exactly right, Matt. Exactly right. In a trending downward market, what they really do is they really buoy the market. So it's not necessarily that you're going to see prices necessarily flex up. Again, every market's different, but nationally, right? And this was one of my concerns in making the call to a 10 to 20% decline, was that they would jump in there with a mortgage like this. Now, this will stave off some of the initial pains, and then it will become more mainstream, and then it will become more of a thing. All of that stuff is still happening. I still believe we're going to see that 10% correction mark by the end of next year. I think there's going to be a combination of everything, but I think that the biggest issue is going to be much fewer transactions from the move-up buyer and the luxury buyer that makes a majority of the transactions current, median, and below, which just by technicality will move the price of median lower. That's what I believe. So is it really lower priced properties going down? It's not. And I've said that for almost a year. Lower priced properties are not going down anywhere that I've seen. Lower priced properties, medium below, they're not going down. There's lines. There's lines. One of my buddies posted something that said that they had 100 people, 100 people at an open house yesterday. 100. Hey, Crash Bros, where are you? Feeling dumb yet? You should. Maybe you should actually know what you're talking about. Like people who've actually been doing this for 20 years before you have an opinion. Honest to God. Josh Burdick. So I gave a binder to my good tenants who are way under rents. They called me up and wouldn't tell me a price. They insist that I tell them a price. I want to be fair because they never missed rent. You can say, guys, this isn't a negotiation from the perspective where I'm trying to just get you to pay the most. I need to know what you guys can afford. If I can afford to do it for that, I can't go and figure out what my absolute lowest is. It's much better if you tell me, what can you guys afford to do? Because at the end of the day, I'm then going to have to go do a bunch of math, look at all the numbers, and then be able to come back to you and say, I can do that number or I can't. And if you really, and again, I wouldn't listen, you're doing them a favor. You're doing them a favor. I don't understand why people are making that difficult for you. You gave them a chance to stay. And I bet you if they leave, you'll still find another good tenant. You'll still find one that will be happy to pay what the new higher rent is because they're looking at the market and you used market data to give them the number or to give them the foundation for preparing a number that it was. I would be so pissed that I gave somebody a chance and then they were like playing this game with me. I would just say, listen, you guys have until this time to give me a number. And if I can do it, great. And if I can't, completely understand that you need to move on. I get it. It's like, honestly, with people, you try and help them and all they want to do is make it more difficult for you. Unbelievable. Keith Hager, happy Easter. You as well. Bobby Simpson, I believe you're going to say happy Easter. You as well. Nick Ragland Johnson, good morning. Good morning, sir. Delta. Oh, Duchess. Hopefully you don't mind if I call you that. At Josh Burdick, same thing happened to me. I went 5% under market and they happily said yes. Yep. Everyone's different, but that worked for me. So exactly. I agree. Exactly. I mean, if they don't want to give you a number, then just do, a few percentage points. It's on them. It's incumbent upon them to give you a number that works for them. And if it doesn't work, I get it. We have to move on. Like people, I tell you. Sorry, saw a super chat. Let me just address that one real quick. What's up, Phil Nealon? Thanks for the Sunday show. You're welcome, my friend. I'm going to miss you guys not doing boot camp today. I won't lie. Going to miss it. I love boot camp. I look forward to it every Sunday. But want to do family stuff with the kiddos. I said I would be there and I got to be there even though they moved the time on me. Anyway, Matt Bittner, extend and pretend. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly going to be part of it, Matt. There's going to be plenty of banks out there that have to extend and pretend. They're going to have to, or they might do a moderate uptick, right? But the question is, how do you do that if there's assets underlying? It's going to be a challenge, but I'm sure that the market will pivot. I'm sure there will be some sort of a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, like Uneducated Economist talks about. Guys, you're missing out if you're not watching Simon, the Uneducated Economist. You're missing out. His data is pure fire. Now, some of it's actionable and some of it's hey, this is the way the system's going. And I don't know that there's another way out of it, but you guys are missing out if you're not watching Simon, Uneducated Economist. I consider him a friend. I think he's a great guy. I think he's an absolute patriot. I think he really understands kind of the uneducated perspective. He learned by living in it, not by sitting in some classroom. He's watching and seeing what people are doing. He's a great watch. I catch as many of his lives as I possibly can, and I watch as much of his stuff as I possibly can. I think his stuff is absolutely spectacular. Corby Carter, good morning, sir. Nick Wood, keep sporting that Magpul hat. Love it. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a good product. Let's see. Duchess, in my case, their rent increased by 30%, right? I actually have, ooh, yeah. I have a spreadsheet that I did for you guys. I'm not going to show the spreadsheet, but I am going to share with you the numbers. The numbers as I read, where'd it go? Nope. That's not it. Golly, I thought I had it right here on my phone for you guys too. Here we go. Let's just do it this way. Oh, yep, I found it. Haha. Sometimes I'm too smart. Okay, 1 unit. Here are 10 units that what they were rented for in 2022 and what they are now rented for in 2023. Are we ready? $1,950 to $3,000. $850 to $1,600. Now, keep in mind, none of these were increases on existing tenants. These were, we tried to work with the old tenant, or they may have been evicted, and this was their old number and now the new number. Because one of the things we tell all of our tenants that go into eviction because they're not paying, we're just saying it's going to be a lot more expensive anywhere else. It's going to be a lot more expensive anywhere else unless you want to move a half hour or 45 minutes from here. It's going to be a lot more expensive than anywhere else, but that's your choice. You do you. So 1950 to 3,000, 850 to 1,600, 1025 to 2,200, 1295 to 2,200. That was an eviction. 1995. That's what the old tenant was paying, and the new tenant's now paying 2997. 4 units in one of our bigger buildings went from 1,100 to 1,500. 1375 to 1,900. Plus, we went nothing included. One of them went from $2,003 to $2,500. $2,000 to $2,500. Another one went from 16 to 25, nothing included. And the other one went from $1,600 to $3,200. That was a tenant that we evicted. They were paying $1,600. For what reason would I fight to keep you in there when I could get $3,200 from the market? Like, you got rocks in your head? Like, of course I'm going to pursue evicting you. I was doing you a favor keeping your rent at that. And what did it get me? It got me you not paying because you wouldn't make rent a priority. Well, now you're out. So, and I'm getting twice as much money. What a horrible deal for me. So that's 10 units. Those are the top 10 from last year. And none were raises on existing tenants. So I don't want to hear the noise. Those were all, they went from somebody being evicted or somebody leaving, going somewhere else, and us basically going through, doing a make ready on the apartment and then putting it back on the market. Is what it is. Let's see. Landlord Odyssey, what's going on, Redion? Good to have you, my man. Keith Hager, sometimes you have to pull the weeds to let your flowers grow. True story. That's a flower story right there. Hyder, dare I mention the camera is still favoring the right side of the frame a little? No, I won't type that. Yeah, I know. I got to recalibrate because my I'll explain it later. Let's see. I like that, Keith. Yeah, true story. Matt Bittner, maybe the seller of the house with 100 people interested should have hired an auctioneer. I know, right? See, the problem with that though is that auctions, so that it's a great idea. The problem is that very often in that heat of the moment, yes, you get a higher price, but a much, much, much higher percentage of those people get disqualified. Because I've literally seen houses go into auction, and then the buyer, when it's not like a foreclosure, right? Then the buyer basically agree to take that price. And I have actually then seen that person not follow through, not close the deal. And they lose their deposit. But that's a problem because what happens with the second or the third place person? That's why I still like taking the process of a PNS. Good idea, though. Bobby Simpson, rental started out with 1 year lease. Since then, 6 years, month to month. Yep. Now I'm going to do a 1-year lease again, all the same tenant. Can I change the lease rules language from the original one? Yes, you absolutely can. Once that contract is over, you can then change your terms. There are some things that we've learned in the last couple of years where we've changed some of the terms of our leases. We cover that stuff in my course. Oh shit, I'm a landlord. Now what? We cover a lot of that type of stuff in the course because those are the lessons learned, and they're not like a little thing here and a little thing there. They're like what we've learned over 20 years. And we teach basically 2 modules on how to never lose in court, how to make sure you have all the appropriate paperwork, how to update all that stuff. So that's something we actively and actually heavily teach on. Let's see. Oops. Sorry. Sean and Wendy, God is amazing. We appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you right back. And happy Easter. Phil Nealon, yes, again. Happy Rabid Bunny Day. Dear God. That's not the meaning of Easter, Rob. Just so you know. Alyssa, good morning. Corby Carter, no boot camp today. Guess I'll check the website. Yeah, no boot camp today, guys. I canceled today's event because it was originally we were supposed to have an Easter event on Sunday morning for the family, and it got moved to the afternoon. And so I don't want to miss my kids on their Easter, especially with everything that was going on with Eliana last year. So this is Eliana's, my 2-year-old. She just turned 2. Total miracle baby. You can watch some of the videos that I did with her on the channel. But this is her first Easter. So wouldn't miss that. As much as I love boot camp, we'll do boot camp another week. Tom Kine. Hey, Matt. Hey, y'all. Glad to be here. Tom, we're glad to have you here. It's a hardworking guy. Alyssa, good morning to you. Let's see. Bobby Simpson, I'm considering taking your course. Very interested in the rent box. I do not do spreadsheets on a computer. Yep. Will that be an issue for me, or do I need to do an Excel crash course? No, everything in my spreadsheet, I give you the spreadsheet. You get the spreadsheet. So you don't have to do a crash course. Everything is in there. It gives you all that you need. There's nothing that you need to learn about Excel. Literally, if you can click on a cell, which is basically a box, and update a number, you have all the skill that you need to use my spreadsheet. It's that simple. So yeah, Bobby, we'd love to have you in the course. There's a lot more there too. The rent box is awesome. I won't lie, but there's a lot more there. A lot. Can you put a link in for your course? Yep. Oh, thanks for doing that, Hyder. Yeah, if you just go right to the website, there's a syllabus there. You can go through the syllabus. It's about a 16-minute video. It covers all the stuff that we're going to cover, all the stuff that we cover in the course. And then the stuff that I have coming in April. Oh, it's already April. The stuff I have coming in April is now I start to have some special guests that are going to be very transparent, but they're going to be in the course. There's stuff like that we can't put on general channels. So we're bringing in some experts, people that I work with that are part of my daily. And we're going to bring them in there where then people can ask questions and such. We're not going to close that down to only boot camp. It's going to be anybody in the course can access that stuff. But there's also one on this video. There's a link there too. Rob, took my 5-year-old to his first theater movie yesterday. He announced to the world, this is kind of cool. Very funny. I did the same thing with Samuel yesterday. He's 5 as well. We saw the Mario movie. It was an absolute blast. He was like, Dad, this is so awesome. I'm like, it is so awesome. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Course link in the description. Yes, it is. Thanks, Tom Kine. That should also be the link. Yes, it is. Airborne 2, Rob. Will always remember going to see E.T. and there were 2 little kids sitting next to me, the look on their faces. I know it was kind of funny. That was Sam's first movie. That was the first time I'd ever taken him to a movie. The other kids didn't go. They're not quite ready yet. Eliana definitely isn't. She would just be running up and down the alleys and she'd be thinking she was the show. So yeah, it was a lot of fun going yesterday. Rob, Matt, Excel course, how to torture spreadsheets coming soon. Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, we try and go super easy on my Excel rent box. And the reason for that is I totally get it. Like I'm used to with my real job. I'm used to dealing with Excel, but I wanted to make it super, super easy. That way you weren't breaking any formulas or would get confusion. The other thing about the course too, is that everybody else in the course also use the rent box. And so there's great dialogue between people in the course, sharing tips and tricks and some of the cool stuff that they've done. Josh Burdick, when lease is up and tenant goes month to month, do you reevaluate tenant's income, et cetera, before signing a new lease? I think that it always makes sense if it's certainly been that long a period of time. I think it certainly makes sense. Yeah. I think you said that they've been like month to month for 5 years. Yeah, I think it makes sense. To just say, hey, this is part of our process. We're just going through, so we have everybody's application on file. And you can just tell them no concerns on my part, but just want to make sure that we have full everything from everyone on file as we move people into leases. So yeah. Phil Nealon, Bobby, you can search YouTube or Housing Investors Rent Box or Lumberjack Rent Box. Yep, you can. And that's the general one, but that one is a much skinny down version. That one's only a few fields. We did one that was kind of like ultra rent box, if you will. There's a lot more data teaching how to use it and then how it fits into rental strategies. Real quick too, Rob, happy Easter to you too. Real quick too, something you guys should consider, and something that I think was, what's the right word? Interesting. Yeah, I think probably interesting is the right word. So this week, I gave my agent a unit to post. She posted it, and people do what's inspected, not it's expected. And don't worry, agent, I'm not calling you to the carpet on this. But she had put copy up, copy is essentially the description. She put copy up and it sucked. That's why I'm not using your name, is because the copy sucked. It was awful. And I said, that's not my copy. That's not how we do it. And the ad had gotten basically zero traction, none. We couldn't tell how many times it had been clicked on. That's more of a Zillow thing. But when you're doing Craigslist or Facebook, it's not really, you can do some of that in advanced analytics, but not great. And so there was no traffic. I said, okay, I literally I whipped something up real quick based on my course, how I do it, cut and paste, sent it over to it. She cut and paste. And yesterday alone, we had over 50 inquiries. One day. And this is a 4-bedroom unit. 4 bedrooms are tough because there's not a whole lot of them. But think about the criteria of the person trying to find that. It's either a family with lots of kids or it's a roommate situation. So I want a certain result out of that. Now, we don't discriminate. We don't care who applies. However, the best target for that type of a unit is roommates, because it's an expensive unit. So that unit's $2,600, I think, is that unit. 26 or 27, nothing included. So you're going to be $3,000 all in, $750 per person per bedroom. Not really that expensive, but I don't rent out by the room. That's not my job. You got to find roommates. That's on you. Now, that being said, over 50 inquiries and a bunch of people now signed up for an open house. Now, the difference between that crap that was originally posted with garbage copy that gave no one a reason to read it because it wasn't attractive to the eyes, that's the difference between how I write ads and how my competition writes ads. That's why my units always rent first, and they're not the cheapest. They're often more expensive, but they're not the most expensive. So if you are struggling with getting eyeballs to your ad and you're struggling getting qualified tenants, that's one of the things my course fixes. I did it for a friend of Millennial Mike's, Marina. I did it for her. She had an ad, total garbage, ran for 7 days. She got one qualified tenant that backed out, and she got 1,000 hits, I think. I got 2,300 hits in the same 7-day period, and she had 7 decent people that she could pick from to get into the unit, and she did it, and it worked out awesome. Guys, this is the reason. 20 plus years of experience. That's why we take the course. That's why it will help you out. I guarantee you, make $1,000 difference. That's how much the course is. I guarantee it'll make $1,000 difference in your landlording business. Over the course of time, there's no doubt in my mind. It's just that simple. It crushes. Phil, much better. I mean, for the video that I did, that was my initial kind of simple rent box. However, there's a lot more deep, a lot more, like deep about, which is like as many times as they want, and it really puts really puts you in a better spot. REI Stoners, hope everyone has a good day with family. REI Stoners, you as well. I know that we're going to have a great day with family. Can't wait to see my kids do their Easter egg hunt. Matt Bittner, do you know if the banks are giving homeowners multiple chances to come current on their mortgage? It seems like that must be the case because there has been a long ongoing foreclosure drought. So first you had the forbearance, which was government ordered. After the forbearance, it takes, it can take a year to get that stuff through the cycle. The issue is that very often, and the forbearance was usually just loaded onto the back, and it might have been done at $0 or 1%, or it very, very small. And so what you're seeing is exactly what I said you were going to see, which is people are not going to find a cheaper option. What's really going to drive foreclosures is a massive loss of jobs. That's what's going to drive foreclosures, because they're not going to get a better payment, right? They're not. You're not going to get a better payment on anything now unless you cut your house in half, because that's what the rates have basically done. They've more than doubled. So they are certainly giving people chances, but no, foreclosures are definitely up, but they're kind of up to about normal, maybe a little bit more than normal. But that's because you went a year and a half without any, or a year without any. So now those are starting to enter in the process. Forbearance happened, and some of those people are still getting disqualified because they're still not able to make their existing home payment because they thought, oh, maybe I don't have to get a job again. Nope, you do. We tried to work something out with a tenant, and they said, I can figure out how to get caught up. And we said, okay, what's the plan moving forward? She's like, well, I've reached out to a lot of people for financial help. That's the plan moving forward. Reach out to a lot more people for financial help. Get an effing job. She doesn't have a job. Get a job. Get a job. And so I said to her, I said, we're not going to work something out with you. You don't have a job. If I do it, all I'm doing is signing up to have to chase you every single month. Again, I'm not doing that. I don't have the time for that. That's not how this is done. You have to want to participate in society. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to be gainfully employed. Well, please don't do that. No. It is not my fault that you've made the life decisions that you've made. And I can't put myself in a position where I have to chase you every single month for rent. That's not how this works. We come to an agreement. I give you a place to live. I take care of all of the maintenance. I take care of all the things that you raise that you need. And I don't look whether or not you've paid your rent. I still do it no matter what, because I have to maintain the building. I have to keep it in good shape, and I have to fix issues as they arise. That being said, you are not doing your part. You do not have a job. You do not have the means by which to pay rent. And I'm not going to chase you every single month to see what you came up with that month in order to be able to pay rent. Not doing that. I'm not doing it. No, that's unreasonable, because there are plenty of other people right behind you that have done their part. They have a job. They have a program that maybe it's housing that they're on. They have something where they know every single month how they are going to bridge the gap financially, period. And they're not looking for a handout. And that's all you're doing. That particular tenant only looking for a handout. Sean and Wendy, God is amazing. Matt, I know you might have said this before. It's okay. How long before you went full-time? And 2, how many units did you have and number of buildings? How long before you went full-time? And 2? I what do you mean full-time? I'm happy to answer the question. I just don't really think I understand it. I have 50 buildings now, 137 units. I still have a full-time W-2 and I self-manage. That's when people are like, I don't have the time. No, you don't have the inclination to create wealth. Let's just be honest about it. That's what it is. I choose to spend all of my free time with my family, and my other time is on the business. I'm very disciplined in how I manage my time. Landlord Odyssey, how many times have you done a variance, if any? I might need a variance for the exterior stairs I'm trying to add to my property. Yeah, maybe. Variances, I've done a couple. They can be tough. They really can be tough, because what you have to do for variances is you have to prove a hardship. And that's really hard to do, because just because it's hard for you doesn't mean that the counselor will agree that it's hard. It's a hardship. Hardship is usually something that's caused by external circumstances. It's a hard thing to navigate, honestly, Redion. It's a hard thing to navigate. Phil Nealon, inspirational quote of the day. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Josh Burdick, thanks for answering the RE questions, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're happy to, Josh. Church is starting. I'm taking a step back. It'll still be there here, though. Appreciate that, Hyder. Yeah, enjoy your church time. So I am not entering into an agreement with somebody for a unit that doesn't have a job and doesn't have housing assistance. No freaking way. That's how we got here in the first place. She got emergency assistance. I wanted to help. And now guess what? She's owed me money. She now owes me $7,000. What's the likelihood I'm going to see that $7,000? Now, I'll take her to small claims court. You can't get blood from a stone, but what you can do, you can work out some sort of a payment. So I'm going to work out some sort of a payment. Even if she pays me $50 for the rest of her life, at least I start to get some recovery on my money as opposed to zero. But I'm not setting myself up for a loss. Your decision is to not work. Your decision to not be gainfully employed is your problem. I can't make your problems my problems. I made different life choices. Something didn't happen to you. You are choosing this. Choosing. You could have gotten a job back when the emergency rental assistance program started. You could still get a job now. It's your problem. It's your fault. And you are in the position you are because you lack personal accountability, period. And I'm not footing the bill for that. I'm not footing the bill so you can go make some more jackass TikTok videos. Pound sand. You're gone. Period. End of story. Yeah. I'm picturing Hyder at the back of church with one ear, but in listening to Lumberjack. Yeah. Yeah. No. Be in church. Be all there. Flash of light. Morning. Happy Easter, Matt. You as well. Flash of light. Has your favorite bank tightened mortgages for their customers or you? That's a great question. Yeah, they've tightened. They've definitely tightened for some. They're requiring more margin on their deals, just like I told you was going to happen. And I'm not saying I told you so. I'm telling the market I told you so. I'm telling the crash bro idiots I told them so. All these people that were thinking, hey, pricing is going to go down and then I'm going to be able to buy something. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. Everything is contracting. It's the way it goes. That's the way it goes in recessions. People that have been through it and invested through it before know that. That's what makes the crash bros a bunch of clowns. They don't get it. They require bigger down payments. Fannie and Freddie don't. And now those deals are more likely to get accepted. But guess what? They come with a bunch of strings attached. That unit has to be basically perfect because they don't want you spending any money. So when they see that inspection report, they are likely going to flag things, which means that the seller can either say, you know what, I'm just going to take the one with less strings attached and less money, or I'm going to keep the FHA side. But banks are absolutely tightening. There's bigger margin there for sure. Sean and Wendy, full-time from outside job of real estate. How many units did you have at that time? So I'm still full-time now. So I have 137 units now, self-managed now. When could I have quit? Probably 60 units, 50 or 60. The big thing for me is I don't take money out. I don't take money out of my business. I constantly recycle and put it back in. So I get more, I do more rehabs, I do more buildings. So that's what speeds it up as you're in it longer and longer. And I constantly, any of the money, even if I take out money from like a HELOC or a refinance, I still put it back into the business again. That's what's propelled all of my growth. Original money from me, from my job in that business, it's not there. It's not there. That becomes self-funding. It just becomes a constant thing where it keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling, and it's a snowball, and it gets bigger and bigger. It's like what Dion refers to as the income snowball. The issue is that he hasn't touched any of the equity in his properties. Totally fine. Easy way to do it because he wants to live off that monthly income. For me, I want to recycle capital, get bigger and bigger and bigger, because over any period of time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, all of those assets will increase, although I'm not tracking that. What I'm most tracking is my cash flow and the fact that I can get 30-year debt fixed rate and that my rents continue to go up. Because rents, will they adjust? Yeah, of course they will. Rents will absolutely adjust. But look at what they've adjusted. Even in the worst period in history, nationally, they adjusted down about 4%. So rents don't go down over a five-year period of time. It's facts. That's what the numbers show. I haven't seen, you heard my list. Existing rents, I've kept them the same for some tenants that were already at the top of the range. I kept them the same this year for their renewals. We did 3 renewals this week that are $2,750 to $3,000 a month units. We renewed this week. So each of those is between $32,000 and $36,000 for the annual lease. That's $100,000 worth of leases I signed this week. 3 properties. That's it. No rent increases. We stayed pat. The tenant's good. They're not demanding. When something breaks, they let us know, but they're not up our, butts around, getting it done like in 24 hours, unless it's an emergency and we want to be there for that. But for the most part, it is what it is. There's $100,000 right there. At least he's not listening to a ball game. That's true. It's very true. All nighter. I'm actually up front, 3rd row back. Nice. Took the earbuds out though. It's all good. I want you to. Keith Hager, if you don't take the risk, you will never know. Yep. Write down your goals and you find a way to achieve them. Where will you be in 5 years? True story. So I never wrote goals, in all honesty. For me, it was just, I knew what I wanted to do. And the idea was, I think that goals can hurt you 2 ways. One is you do everything you can to possibly get there and you make some bad decisions along the way just to get to your goal. The other is you didn't know enough to formulate the goal. And so some people think, well, you need to set that goal so you can do everything you can to get there. Yeah, that's somehow how some people work. For me, the goal was I wanted to get better at what I was doing and get better at doing transactions. That way I could do more. That's what I did. The idea was in running the business was I wanted to pull some cash out of my existing assets so I could then fund newer projects. The goal wasn't pull out X of money. The goal was to pull out what the most was that I could that didn't hurt the portfolio in an adverse way. Then it was continue to do great deals. Now, of that couple $1,000,000 that I pulled out of the portfolio, I've spent maybe 60% of it. Yeah, probably 60% of it on new acquisition. And then I've spent a chunk on rehabbing existing, because the major mistake that I think people are making is they're only buying properties as opposed to looking at it and saying, if we just spent $7,000 or $10,000 on a rehab on our unit, we can get $400 more a month. That's a great return. That's a great return on your capital. You're talking about 18 months and you get your return. That's what I like. That's what I'm evaluating. So I'm not only looking at new deals, although I looked at a deal yesterday and I think we're going to make an offer. But I looked at a deal yesterday and I like the deal. It's good. It's a strong deal. P.S. Dion's not here because he's in Portugal, but I know more than 21 people like what I'm saying here. So yeah, hit the like button, please. Which all it takes is minimizing the chat and then clicking the like button, then coming back and opening up the chat. Now that said, again, when we look at it, it's like, I want my best use of capital. I want my buck method, best use of capital. And so when I look at the buck method, that might mean that I do a deal because it gets me 15% return. What if I can rehab a unit and get myself a 30% return? Why wouldn't I do that? Even better is that's a smaller amount of money. So all those crazy rent increases you saw, some of those units, we did some work. Some of them we didn't. We just did one unit, but it doubled in rent. It was a 1,025. We spent 15,000 bucks. I did kitchen, doors, floors. But we just spent 15,000 bucks on that unit, and it's going to make $1,175 more a month. It's an 18-year return or 18-month return on my capital. And then after that, it's just printing money, right? It's printing money because my cost basis didn't change on that $1,000. It's going to print. But it's because it's a nice, beautiful unit with a great view. It's going to absolutely print money. Josh Burdick, Offsprings. Why don't you get a job? Yeah, it comes to mind when I hear your current tenant stories. Yeah, sometimes that's the case. We have people that are working hard, right? So we have a family that we just homed. Mom and dad, younger, both work, and they have 2 younger kids. They were on the marginal line. So if I lowered rent a little bit, it was in the safe spot. So I lowered rent a little bit and it's in the safe spot. Here's the thing. They're likely going to be with me for 10 years. If I had to guess, I'd say at least 10. I wouldn't have to turn that unit for 10 years, but I made the place nice, did a bunch of extras before they moved in. And so, yeah, I spent like 7,000 bucks or something. Well worth it. Well worth it. Spent $7,000. They're going to probably be there for 10 years. If that's the case, get this. If that's the case and rent stays flat over 10 years, which it never does, they will pay $240,000 to live there. Was the 7,000 bucks worth it? Of course it was. Of course it was. And when they leave in 10 years, will I need to redo the unit? Yeah, probably. Will I need to spend another 10 grand? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But that means that and this isn't a duplex. That means that over that period of time, they're going to pay me $240,000. That's one side. It's one side. So that's where you really start to see that snowball, and you have to look at what's the best use of your capital. Reinvesting into redoing units to get a higher rent because, and again, they're new tenants. I didn't raise on an existing tenant. Somebody moved out. Somebody complained that it was too expensive. They're idiots. Sorry, way to go. I know. I shouldn't name call. Sorry, I don't know what else to call you. You can't do the math. The math was that we went to them and said, we're willing to rent to you for $1,800 a month because we weren't going to do anything. $1,800 a month. They said, that's ridiculous. I know where they moved. They moved to a disgusting area that has the worst crime in 16 cities. Okay, you hit your number. I can't hit that number with a nice place. Can't. Sorry, late. Had a water pipe break on a rental. Oh, man, Kip, I'm sorry to hear that. But if there's any reason for being late, that one's good enough. Well done. You got there, you fixed it. Mandy W, when running numbers on a property, is there an easy and accurate way to estimate what the utility bills will be? There isn't an easy way. What you really need to do is do your due diligence. You can ask for if you're trying to buy a place, you can ask for the numbers. You can also just ask them for copies of the bills, and you want to make sure that you're getting like a few months. You can't just get last month, depending on seasonally where you're at. Sometimes you'll get that and sometimes you don't. But utilities, the real key is in almost every case, I'm having the tenant pay utilities. The only thing they're not paying is water and sewer. And that should be something as simple as calling down to the town and saying, I'm just trying to get a range for what the water sewer bill runs monthly there. Do you have the last 4 quarters? Some states do it by quarter. Some states do it by month. Most do it by quarter. There's one town that we were working in that was so broke, they had to do it by the month. No joke. It's crazy. The amount of work that it took to do it by the month was just silly. Sean and Wendy, that is powerful. Thanks for answering. You're correct. Many landlords will not improve their properties. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. You know, I mean, a lot of times we're buying stuff like that. And we're buying an undervalued asset. I've got a video that's going to come out this week that's pure fire. It's going to just blow people's brains away. But look for it. I think it's going to come out probably Thursday. I made $800,000 in a day. That was a good day. It's a good day, but I'm going to share how I did it. Financial firefighter, Mark. Aloha, everyone. Good. Hello, Mark. Kip, gotta love PEX. See, I love PEX, but I gotta tell you, Kip, I won't lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. That new press tool that I got from Milwaukee. Diggity do. Love it. Love it. We can fix leaks, and because I've got the cutter plus the press, we can fix a leak in less than 5 minutes. We can cut it in a couple minutes, an extra piece of pipe, and we can put it in and diggity dog. I'm telling you, it's a good day. It's a good day, Tighter. It's a good day. What was the reason again that you preferred door loop over hem lane? Financials. It's not even close. Yeah, not even close. Again, at this point, we evaluated hem lane probably a little over a year ago, year and a half ago, but it wasn't even close. Financials were not even close. Yeah. Yep. The fact that I can get a current rent roll with the press of a button, pre-canned reports that I can see P&L for the year, P&L per property. It's just P&L per unit. It's not even close. Not even close. Yep. Hemlane had none of that. Yes, I have all that, but I had to make it in a hurry. Yep. I'll go back tomorrow and press fit. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. I love that. DCF. I made 200K in 1 day trading futures back in 21, lost 80% of it in subsequent months. Life, man. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Yeah. And the way that I made it though, it really can't be lost. I'll share with you guys how it happened. Cause the best part was I didn't really have to do anything, but I'll share it with you guys on Thursday. There's my buddy, Millennial Mike. Millennial Mike usually are like 13-year-old girls constantly chatting each other all the time. He went to Gary, was super crazy busy there, got back from his trip, and I guess we're no longer friends. I'm just teasing you, Mike. But we have had a crazy week, and the beginning of this week is crazy, but it'll be good to get back to normal and be able to catch up on stuff. Bobby Simpson, what press tool? Is it a Pro Press? Yes. Can you describe the tool? Yeah. Looking for a good one, was going to get PEX. So Bobby, so PEX is okay. But I really like, very often you're dealing with copper. I mean, in most of my old buildings, there's copper there. There isn't PEX. So in most of my buildings, because there is copper, and usually there's some sort of a break in the line, I have the Milwaukee pipe cutter, the automated pipe cutter. And I have the Milwaukee Pro Press. You can look them up online. You can buy a used Pro Press. They're 2,000 to 3,000 brand new. I bought mine used for $1,000. It was in really good condition. And the reason I bought it used is because it's not going to be a plumber tool for us that we use every single day. We're going to use it 10 times a year, maybe. We use it a lot this year already. That thing has paid for itself 3 times over. But yeah, having that press tool was an absolute godsend because the ability to make a fix, see a broken pipe, be able to cut out the bad section. That tool is only about $100, $120. If you watch my live streams, excuse me, product reviews. If you watch my product reviews, you'll actually check out and see all the products in there that we use. The Pro Press was one in there. The cutting tool was one in there too. So the cutting tool is between 100 and $120 brand new. The press tool plus the fittings, you can buy the fittings on like eBay or Amazon. You can buy those I buy a box of the sizes that we use. So like the 1-inch couplings and the 2-inch couplings, and I think the 3-inch couplings, then also valves. And we buy them in half, 3/4, and 1 inch. So I have one box that has, 10 of each of those fittings that will get us through anything. But that Pro Press tool from Milwaukee was worth its weight in gold for me. I mean, when the plumber couldn't show up until like 7 or maybe 8 o'clock at night. They couldn't show up until 8 o'clock at night. What was I supposed to do? So we got the work started by actually finding the leaks, cutting some of the pipe out, and then knowing what size we needed to get pipe back in there. It was awesome. Milwaukee Pro Press and the cutter is a great combination. Yeah, it really is. It's the nuts. William Mike, wait, we were friends? Matt's advice on making window providers compete paid off. Got 13K down to 10.5, down to 6K installed. Course pays for itself. Thanks, Millennial Mike. So I wasn't going to bring this up, but Mike did ask, and so I was happy to do it. So a bunch of the things that I teach in the course, Mike was doing his rehab that he's doing in Gary, Indiana, which I'm sure will be documented better than anything you will see. So watch his channel, subscribe to his channel, watch that flip. And when I say flip, he's not flipping the property, he's flipping the project. That way it's going to be all redone, ready for new tenants. But basically, when we talked about it, I said, here's what you're looking for. And it's all stuff I teach in the course, looking for the right vendors, creating the list of vendors, talking to all of them, then narrowing them down based on what their service is and what their price is. He went from 13K down to 6. Now, the 13K was likely the most expensive guy. Fine. But you knew what the high end of the range was. He had somebody at 10.5, still got them down to 6, because I guarantee people were going back and forth. He found exactly what he needed. And you start to learn through the process. You know what? I don't need that. I can live with this. I don't need this. I can live with that. So I'm super pumped that it paid off for him. But yeah, the course does kind of pay for itself. It's $1,000. And listen, there's no doubt in my mind. In fact, I have guys in the boot camp that have said they're making more than $1,000 more a month on their rentals based on just a couple of things they learned in the course. The key is that I can't tell you exactly what's going to be the most valuable to you, because what's really funny is I asked and I got about 40 different answers, meaning that it means something to everybody. It might be different, but then it's going to be other stuff that they'll use later on down the line. But yeah, thanks for the super chat, Mike. I mean, I'm glad it worked. That was the goal. So very good that happened. All right, I got 8 more minutes. So if you guys have any more questions, I'm happy to do them. I got 8 more minutes before I got to go help pack all the little nuggets in the car and get to Easter festivities. And yeah, that's why I'm not in a t-shirt. My family knows I'm the Lumberjack landlord. Excuse me. It's gonna be a long week this week, guys. We have our final hearings. The court case gets started tomorrow. Yeah, I hope we win. I think we've reviewed it with our attorney. We were honest. We did everything right. We did everything based on what we knew what was happening. And yeah, I don't see why we would lose, but I mean, maybe stranger things have happened. I hope not. Or I hope that maybe stranger things have happened, but yeah, I think the big key for what you need to be watching in the market, I'm still looking at a deal today, or deal this weekend. And this is with 6.5 rates. The numbers work right now. We have a question about the course. Does it start and stop, or is it ongoing? When do we get to join past courses? Great question. So the core course, 31, I think it's 30 or 31 modules, is recorded. So it's recorded. So you can watch it at your own pace. The only thing that's timed is the boot camps. That's it. The course itself, watch it at your own speed, watch it at your own pace. All of the data is in there. All of the spreadsheets are in there. All the community is in there where they answer questions. Usually I'm there every couple of days, popping in and answering questions. The last 2 weeks I've not been. I was really super sick for a week and had no voice, and then was so buried after I got better that I had a bunch of real life fires to take care of. But yeah, usually in there every couple of days answering questions, but yeah, go at your own pace. Phil Nealon, yep, $1,300 a month more by month 2, course paid for itself. That is awesome news. I'm so psyched to hear that. Christopher Leroy, what type of work do you do for W2? Tech. I work in tech. Stephen, happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too. Flash of light, Matt, are you still less than 1 year from exiting full-time? Yes. Or have you decided to give them bonus time? So Flash of light, that's a great question. So far, they've gotten bonus time. The original goal was to be done end of last year, but I've given bonus time. It's really about situationally. There's a couple things I want to see happen. We're prepped for those things to happen. So the thing like Dion, I don't hate my job. I don't hate it. So it's not hard to say, hey, we're going to keep on going. Bobby Simpson, is the course tax deductible? Not that I'll keep me from getting it or not. No, Bobby, that's a good question. It's education. I believe, check with your CPA, but I believe education is tax deductible. I believe it is. And I don't think there's any cap to it. Duchess, how long did it take to become good at accurately determining rehab costs? I also assume ARV depends on choices you make for rehab. It does. That's a great question. Here's what I can tell you. Shameless plug for the course. That will get you a whole lot better because I cover 4 modules of the course are all about construction, what to do, value added stuff, the cheap stuff that you have to do, then the bigger stuff you can kind of decide. But I've gotten really good at it. It does vary regionally, but I'm happy to always share, like in the boot camp, I always share regionally, like this is what I'm paying right now. So as an example, I'm doing a trim job in a new construction, in a rehab project, and it's $150 a door. It's $100 a window to trim out. So it's basically hanging the door, trimming out the door, making sure it's all good. Same thing with the window. So the door's $150, the window's $100, and then per linear feet of either baseboard or trim, per linear feet is $3 a foot installed. So that might be high for your area. That would be high. And this isn't poking fun at Gary, Indiana. I think Gary is a fantastic market opportunity. And I think Mike is going to get rich in Gary, Indiana. That said, their contractors obviously can't get paid the same thing our contractors do because the cost of a single family home there can be $100,000. Single family home here is like 440 grand, 450 grand. Now it's not 4X either, but here I pay about $3 a linear foot for install and 100 for a door and 150 for a door and 100 for a window. So hopefully that helps. Do you go for high grade always or mid grade, et cetera, depending on some other factors? Excellent point. We actually talk about that in the course as well, because there are the things that you can do everywhere, right? No matter what the unit is, these are 4 or 5 things that you should always do. That's the first thing. Second thing is market dependent. How does this asset compare to the, where is it in what market? How does it compare to the other stuff out there? And you learn that by doing the rent box and really understanding on the side of the rent box, what is my ceiling here for rent and what does that asset look like? The rent box helps you evaluate all that. That way, when you look at it, you go, all right, I can spend $10,000 and I can get $500 more a month in rent. I can spend $25,000 and I can get $600 more a month in rent, or $700. That's not the best use of capital. So for me, I'm aiming to get to, again, B and C class properties in B and C class areas, no D's. I have some stuff in A, but I don't have any A class properties in A. Those are the guys that are getting crushed right now because they're the ones that actually see rents going down. Robert Farinelli, hello, Matt. Happy Easter to you as well, sir. Well, you got 2 minutes, Robert, because I'm cutting this one short today so I can go spend time with the kiddos on Easter, but I'm happy to answer your question, my man. So Duchess, hopefully that helps you. But again, for those of you who had questions about the course, watch the syllabus video. You tell me. It's not for everybody, but I can tell you everyone that's taken it so far, whether they were 0 units or 66 units, you guys know who I'm talking about. That's our famed Dung Tai, who actually now has more than 66 units. Congratulations to you, my man. More than 66 units. He's now over 70. But he still took the course, saw value. He's saving thousands of dollars a month based on what he's seen in the course. But again, this isn't really a commercial for the course. It's more, you guys asked the question. I want to give you an answer. Duchess sold me on the course. We're happy to have you. It's going to change the way you do landlording. There's no doubt in my mind. The reason why we priced it under $1,000, I wanted to make it attainable for everybody. I wanted them to make the commitment to watch it all and go through all of it, because there's 30 something modules. There's 11 modules. There's 30 something videos in there. Again, not all of them are going to be applying to you right now. However, there's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, that are going to be like, that crushes for me. That's exactly what I needed to know. And the path to get there. That's what's important. Millennial Mike, I did an entire video with my CPA interviewing him about questions about tax deductibility. Courses, books, programs, all tax deductible according to him. That's great news. Yeah, should be. Robert Fairley, can I post a demand for rent and an eviction notice together, or does the demand need to be posted first? If so, how many days do I need to wait? I believe that they're posted together, Robert. Better question for here's what I would do to get the exact answer. I would call the court, and I would ask them and say, I want, should I post these together or not? I believe that we post them together. Demand for rent, notice to quit. I believe that we post them together. And then the tenant then has, I think it's 10 days to respond, but I don't serve those papers anymore. I used to, and I don't know if any rules changed. The best place to ask isn't necessarily an attorney, because that will cost you money. All you have to do is call the courthouse, and you can make sure that you're getting it from the landlord tenant, what do they call her? Administrator, or landlord tenant, clerk. That's the word. Landlord tenant clerk. Call your city, which I know what it is, but call your city and ask the landlord tenant clerk, hey, so these are the two documents that I have. Can I post these at the same time? There is a signature line on both of them, and there is a date and time in which they were served on both of them. That's the way to get your best answer, my man. Terry Flood, thanks for all you do, Matt. Glad you're feeling better. Enjoy the time with family. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the throat's still a little bit tender. I won't lie, but I was very thankful to get my voice back. Yeah. Got to go enjoy time with your family. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, hopefully that answer helps you. Bobby Simpson, Millennial Mike, I live in Washington just like you. Are you willing to share your CPA with me, looking for a good one? Bobby Simpson, if you want a really good one, I know that Mike has his, but Bob at Maine Bean Counters, bob@mainbeancounters.com. That's his email. Send him an email. Say you heard about him from the Lumberjack Landlord. And I know that, I'm not positive, I believe he's taking on clients for next year, maybe this year, if you're willing to file an extension. But I think if you know that you have to pay up front and then file the extension and clean up the mess later. But Bob at Maine Bean Counters, he's mine. He's an enrolled agent, has CPAs on his team, and also has data entry folks on his team that help reduce the cost of my overall return by thousands of dollars. I appreciate Bob Langworthy from Maine Bean Counters. He's spectacular. Look him up, do some research, send him an email, let him know that Lumberjack Landlord sent you. Because I know he's taken on some of my other friends, maybe like 4 or 6 weeks ago, he took them on. So I don't know if something's changed in the last 4 to 6 weeks, but he's definitely worth a reach out for sure. Guys, I am over time. I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys all have a fantastic, awesome Easter. I always appreciate spending time with you guys on Easter Sunday. Every Sunday, I appreciate spending time with you. Like I said, it's bittersweet not doing boot camp today, because I actually do love that time. I love spending that time with the boot campers. That they're just, what a great group of people that are working hard. They're all helping each other. I'm happy to share with them my experiences. They ask great questions every week, and it's become part of my week. So I'm going to miss it. But I hope all you guys have a fantastic Easter, and enjoy time with your families, and do great deals. Keep on doing the work. I'm telling you, there are absolutely deals in this market. Keep on doing the work. It might take you 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. You're going to find a great deal and you're going to know it when you see it. And then you do your due diligence to make sure you're not getting got. And then it's off to the races and you're a landlord. So I appreciate you guys. We always try and create great content for you. Please make sure you hit that like button. If you've made a comment, I know you already subscribed. We like to make sure that that's a requirement because we don't want pinheads. So I will give you guys a great update this week. Again, I'll share that video about how I made $800,000 in a day. I'll be sharing that. That'll come out this week. We've got a couple other videos for you as well. And yeah, that's basically all of it. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate your time. Look at the syllabus. Don't be talked into it. Look at the syllabus. Are those things that you're struggling with? If yes, the course will help you. If those aren't things you even know or understand, then yes, the course will definitely help you. If those are things that you have all the answers for all those things, the course may or may not help you. It may, only because maybe I do it better. I might do it worse. It's possible. Landlord Odyssey, see you guys. Ready on, great to have you. Bobby Simpson, thanks for all experiences. I'm happy to do it. Pleasure. Phil Nealon, have a great one. Thanks. You're welcome, Phil. Phil is one of those great guys. So Corby's in the course, Robert's in the course, Landlord Odyssey, ready on, he's in the course. Phil is in the course. Millennial Mike is in the course. A lot of these folks are in the course, and I really appreciate Jesse Mao. Happy Easter to you too. I just appreciate you guys. I really enjoy spending my time with you, and I'm even more thrilled to know that some of my horrible experiences are going better for you. Because we share those. So have a fantastic week, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Appreciate you guys as always, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody.